So, what is the raw milk revolution? Let's go back in history so I can explain a little. Right now in Australia, there's around 4,000 small scale dairy farms. But back in the day, that number used to be over 20,000. A lot happened in our history and our past that kind of really affected the way we look at health today and what we eat. And one of these major things was a debate between Louis Pasteur and Antoine Béchamp. And there was two theories. So one theory, Louis Pasteur theory, was germ theory, and Béchamp theory was terrain theory. And so the Pasteur, you would have heard of the word pasteurization. So Louis Pasteur's theory was like, if there's germs, we have to kill, we have to sterilize the environment, everything needs to be clean. All bacteria is bad, pretty much, in short. And Béchamp theory was that if people run well, if there was sickness, there was something to do with the environment. We need to change the environment, potentially move the person, move the animal out of the environment into a better environment that suits that being. All right. As a society, we went down the Louis Pasteur theory. So we killed everything, sterilized everything. And this is why in modern medicine right now, we have things like antibiotics, but we are now so antibiotic resistant because we've killed everything and then the bugs just became stronger, right? So now we are shifting towards terrain theory, and you'll see the rise in prebiotics, probiotics, looking at everything a bit more holistically rather than just trying to live in a sterile environment, because that's not what we're designed to do. So how does this relate to milk? So raw milk is a superfood. It's one of the most nutrient-dense superfoods on the planet, and it's essential. It's one of those essential things that we can use to really thrive. And we have for thousands and thousands of years, tens of thousands of years, by having that close relationship, but by having, say, for example, a goat or a cow or other dairy animals, and utilizing the extra milk for your family. And so what changed? A lot of things changed. The Rockefellers were involved. There was a lot of big business involved. So we had all these small scale dairy farms. And because of this argument of pasteurization, what happened is milk was then pasteurized, and now it's also homogenized. And what that means is it was heat treated and killed all the bacteria, including all the good bacteria, including all the enzymes, including everything that made that food a superfood. It was all now kind of like a dead product. And what happened is when that became a law, most people couldn't afford the expensive pasteurization machines. And so it drove small scale farmers out of business because they couldn't compete. And this is where the globalization, the giant conglomerations started to happen in the dairy industry, and there's many other industries that happen. What this also had was another effect is people couldn't live on their farms anymore to produce an income. So middle class in Australia, in America, and a lot of countries had to then move to the cities to find a job, to create an income. And so our entire history has been shifted by that one very thing that happened of the debate of germ theory versus terrain theory. Now, what's happening is we're going back into wisdom and knowledge. We're remembering and we're questioning things that our society is based on, because guess what? So many people are unwell. We are declining. The population is dying more than is being born. We are declining as a species in the amount of people that are here and also the quality of life. So we're having to look at everything we're doing on a foundational level and go, is that really true? Does that really work? And pasteurization is one of those things. So the raw milk revolution is for those of us crazies that realize that nature got it right. And there is huge benefits to the raw milk. And it's growing rapidly because people are getting so sick, and because they've got allergies and all these type of things from commercial milk, they're starting to realize, what's in this milk? What are all these? And now there's things that are added, like antibiotics and all these other things that are added into the animals, which affect your health even more. And so we're going back to raw milk. We're going back to understanding the benefits of this superfood. So where I come in is I educate people on this. And so I also breed Nigerian dwarf goats. And there's a specific reason why I chose Nigerian dwarf goats. Number one, cow's milk is great. Raw cow's milk is incredible, but I don't have the land to actually run that. And a lot of people don't actually have enough land to have that type of livestock. And so the people that are doing it well, they're doing it amazingly. And my passion is to get animals into people's homes. So for example, their own herd of Nigerian dwarf goats. And then when they have those Nigerian dwarf goats in their home, they can then produce their own milk. And the reason I specifically chose Nigerian dwarf goats is because they have high butter fat milk. So that means it's a super creamy, delicious, nutrient dense milk. They're also quite high yield for such a small animal. Because they're a small miniature goat, they're easy to keep in fencing. And then the other thing is they're super friendly. So you don't need to worry about a goat pushing you over from behind or hurting kids. And so this is the other reason why goat's milk is actually becoming more popular. And side fact, more people drink goat's milk in the world than cow's milk. It's just in the Western world, it's more cow's milk. A lot of the so-called third world countries, a lot of these people, their goat is their prized possession, and they realize that it's a prized possession because it's their food security, it's their independence. And if they look after that animal, they can have milk for generations to come. And so there's this huge movement to having that food sovereignty again, and to own your animals and to produce these incredible products, which include raw milk, cheese, kefir, butter, cream, ice cream, and even your own soap. And so this is what I do. This is what I do at Noosa Goat Co. And if you have any questions, you would like to get your own livestock, we raise them holistically, which means we don't vaccinate them, we don't dehorn them. So the horns there's a couple of reasons why we don't dehorn. One is the horn is part of their immune system. It's also part of their temperature regulation. And it's also their connection to the astral realms, that woo-woo stuff. And so we don't do that. And we found that the goats that we have had that have been dehorned, we actually have more trouble with them because the horns grow back a little bit, they go a little bit awkward, and it's just not the way we want to do it. And we also use natural deworming, and we just raise them as regenerative as we possibly can. So using the way nature's systems want us to work means that the animals are healthy, and it means that we don't need to put all the chemicals and all the other stuff in with them, because nature knows best. And so that's the raw milk revolution. We're just one part of it. And then so what happens is, if we have our own food resilience, our food security, not only do we get to monitor the quality of things that we're putting into our body and helping our family and our community with, prices doesn't matter. If the price of things go up, if there's a scarcity of certain products, we now have that control. And this is what the raw milk revolution is all about. So I hope you want to join us on this. And if you have any questions, please go onto the link that I'll put up, and you can either register for interest if you would like your own goats. We sell goats all over Australia, and we can get them delivered all over Australia and New Zealand. And also, if you want raw milk products that we will be selling in the future, click on that same link and you can register your interest for products. For me, I personally chose raw milk because of my gut health. I had a lot of gut health issues, and so I did my research, and guess what? Raw milk actually helps the gut. It also actually helps a lot of people that have allergies and things like that, because it doesn't, when it's pasteurized, when it's denatured, which is what it is, you lose all the benefits. When you have the product in its natural form, you get all the benefits. And so that's what I'm really passionate about and really excited about as we move back towards terrain theory, back towards a real nutrient dense food and nurturing and caring for our bodies and changing the cycle of our population decline. So rather than population dying and not being healthy, not being happy, we're actually going to shift this for the next generation. And I'm really excited that a whole bunch of families, when they have kids, these kids will be able to grow up on these delicious products. They'll be able to grow up in nature and be connected with the animals and understand the importance of a closed cycle of having your animals on the land, the manure and everything that the animals do to improve the land, regenerate the land. And this is why I'm so excited. So thank you for listening, and reach out if you have any more questions.